Well, greetings from the eccentric man. A little test with the setup of the camera. It's the Logitech 920 camera, and looking at setting up the computer desk and just seeing how things go. What I probably need to do is set the camera to mirror image because it's round the wrong way. But just at the moment, going to set up and do some Blitzkrieg Germans. I've got the unit done already, or the army done for bolt action, and that's got two here sections or squads, and then a pioneer squad and two light machine gun teams. They're the 3-men teams that you can replace the medium machine gun slot. So we're going to run with those. And then I've got a 38T, and I've got a 2316 rad to run with it. That's got the 2mm autocannon. Of course, the 38T has got the 2 machine guns, the hull and the coaxial, and it's got the light anti-tank gun. And then I've got a Opel Blitz truck to run them all in, and the final piece is a medium mortar to give them some artillery. So that will be okay for bolt action, and we're looking to do, John and myself are looking to do some games with the Fall of France bolt action campaign, and also looking at doing some of the chain of command. And I think Colin's going to join in with this because he's got his French, which can be done for early war, and John got his British Expeditionary Force for early wars, and I can use the German Blitzkrieg figures that I've been putting together. However, if I'm going to run for chain of command as well, I'm going to have to up the number of riflemen, because the key difference with chain of command is that you're getting to use more historical based sections. So with that, the heavy machine gun needs 8 men, I believe it, or the medium machine gun, which is set up as a stationary weapon on sustained fire, needs 8 men, as opposed to in bolt action 3 men. Rifle sections as well need more of those, and certainly the pioneer squad in bolt action you can have lots of submachine guns, whereas in chain of command you can't. I've noticed that the video is flicking a little bit, and I think that's possibly the autofocus. But yeah, as you can see what I'm doing, not sure how well the autofocus sort of works on it. Gonna have to work out how to do some of these in autofocus, because I can focus it down onto here, which is not so bad. But if I'm doing painting, then that's perhaps not so good. But we will see. So yeah, so what I've got to actually do for chain of command is put more riflemen together. So that means going back into the leftover bits on the Blitzkrieg sprues and seeing what I've got left. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, got to work out how to do the zoom on there. But yeah, other than that, and perhaps I'll have to maybe move the camera to the other side and move my daylight lamp to that side. Yes, that's what I think might have to do. That might be better. So let's remove a little bit of flash on these. Of course, always being careful with the sharp knife, which is not always necessarily the case. Having cut myself one Christmas Eve very badly with it, which is on the edge of the finger there. You can probably just see the depression there. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see that dark line going down. That isn't actually the connection of the finger extension. That's where I cut it with the scalpel, and it went down to the bone. But the good people at the hospital glued it back together again. That was good. It was an eventful drive with my wife, who we had a car which didn't have power assisted steering, and I did mention it was quite difficult to steer as we went the wrong way around a mini roundabout. But there we go. we did get to the hospital and that was okay. So yeah, so not quite sure how many riflemen I've got to put together. Let's try not to get glue on the computer keyboard, which is quite likely. So yeah, been a busy year so far with lots of different things, so not got much done, he says. Although we've dabbled with a bit of coral seas, as we've seen, and got some nice bits and pieces. Just finished doing the trawler, which was quite nice. Nice little model. And trying some other little bits and pieces for the coral sea. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of sticking. Yeah, got to remember you can't press down on computer keyboard keys. I'm stuck really at the computer because I haven't got a room. The nice conservatory that we've had built has been usurped. So let's just get bits. Show you what we've been working on. Yeah, so that's the armed trawler from the coral seas. All right, so we've got Cornelius. Oh, that's okay. That's good. That's working. And chat's working. Can you actually hear me? If so, what do I prefer to play? Competitively or historically with bolt action? Or yeah, have you seen my previous posts? Well, previous video on to cheese or not to cheese, and the Warlord GT, and historical. I did do a lot of Warhammer Fantasy competitions. And I was never really totally keen on competitive, so I prefer. Oh look, there we go. That's what we've done. We've cut down the hull of a 135th U-boat. This is actually what kit was it? Some sort of proper scale model kit. So we've cut that down. We didn't do it particularly well, so we're going to have to get some plastic card underneath. Yeah. So I prefer to play historically with a bit of competitiveness in it. We've got the Cams Bridge Too Far coming up in God, my shoulder. Coming up in March. Yeah, March. That's it. Coming up in March, and that's 1,000 points, and you can have either 2 reinforced platoons or 2 tank platoons, but you can't mix and match. So there's a Western Desert North Africa theme to it that's been being pushed, which I've signed up to, and my first game will be against Gaz Daffyd Walsh. Hi Adam, how you doing? Not so bad. Yeah, I'm going to be playing against Gaz, and that's a grudge match from last year because I actually beat him with my Italians last year. Gaz is putting together a really nice looking RAF themed unit. So they're one of the units that secure the airfields ahead of the planes, and he's putting together a very nice army for that. And I'm going to take him on with my Italians again, but I have tinkered with them. I have been painting up a few more of the paratroopers. Probably can't see the camo very well on that. Don't know how well it'll focus. It won't focus as much, mostly on my hand. But yeah, there is a camo on there that you can see, just about faintly. So I painted up 7 more of the Italian Folgore because they're quite good. Yeah, they are very useful. I take them in small units. I take them in units of 5, and normally I bulk them with submachine guns, and they come as stubborn, which are really good. And I always have a truck to transport them in, and they're very useful. They can either come on as a reserve, or they can come on as outflank. And they can lay down quite a bit of firepower. Or if you've got an objective scenario and you want to get them up front, they can take quite a lot of damage by going down in cover. So they're veterans and stubborn, so yeah, they last quite well. Favorite groundhogs track? I do like the groundhogs. When I was 15, I missed them at the Stevenage Mecca, and that was some years ago. That was probably 1976. I missed them, but I did get to see them at Letchworth. But Tony McPhee had a stroke about 2.5 years before, so his actual wife was doing the singing, but he was playing the guitar, and he is great. I really love his guitar playing. Favorite track? Probably off of Hogwash. And it's the Numbers one. I can't remember what one it is. 257 something road or something like that, which I really like. But yeah, groundhogs are great. Do I know if there is a platoon? I don't, to be honest. I haven't really looked at chain of command for the Italians. I have got my nice book for 1940 for the Blitzkrieg, and that's a nice little book. That's going to be quite useful for both bolt action and chain of command. It gives you a nice little bit of history over the outset of Blitzkrieg in a few pages, which is good. And it's got I think about 6 more scenarios that you can run with it, which is nice. Cruel Seas painting books. I've only seen people putting up on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, there's 2 groups. There's Cruel Seas Mosquito Fleet, and there's Cruel Seas the Dockyard, and they're 2 Facebook groups. The Dockyard group are probably more historically geared towards, shall we say. They were much more critical of the rules when they first came out, but they seem to have mellowed as they've played a few games. And people have been putting up some nice screenshots from some books and from the internet. And I've had a Google, and if you go Google and Pinterest, you get some interesting color schemes. The one for this this was off of a British book, which was done on British coastal camouflage, and this was more or less the Admiralty colours. That was around about 1940. So you've got a dark green, which is the lines at the back, and then you've got a sort of a slate green, which is the green that I've used is an olive green with a bit of black in it, and the other one is green grey Vallejo with a bit of stone grey. And then once I've shaded it, I've gone with lighter colours, and the grey is sky grey, but that's lightened up with white. Can the Cruel Sea ships fit with 6mm figures? Yes, because they are 6mm apparently. 1-300 is 6mm. The submarine, wherever I put it, is 1/35. So it's a little bit small in scale, but not too much to worry. And I think seeing some of the destroyers and the Liberty ships, which are the proper scale models at 350 scale, 1/350, they fit reasonably well. So we'll have to see what that U-boat comes up like once I've based it and painted it. So yeah, so there are some good color schemes if you have a good Google on the internet. Excuse me, they work quite well. I had this cough now for something like a month and a half, and it hasn't gone away. Yeah, what else have we got? Probably seen it if people have seen it. The tanker, merchant tanker. Well, that's just grey, dark grey, lighter grey, and then mahogany brown on the main deck, and old wood on the back end of it. So yeah, that's getting them done. And the next ones up are the fair mile. So I got two of them to put together. Yep. So those are all in the painting line, but certainly lots on the go, trying to get things done and trying to get a few games in as and when, which is always very difficult. I have got a game planned for tomorrow night, which is bolt action game down at the local store at Lost Ark Games. Playing down there, playing Steve Tibbs. If people don't know Steve Tibbs, he is the organizer for the world's biggest bolt action tournament. He runs a Cams Bridge Too Far, and I've known him now for, well, got to know him the first year he ran a Cams Bridge, and that was 3 years ago. Yeah, that was over 3 years ago. And we haven't actually played a game. I've run a couple of events in Stevenage, and he's played in those, but I've been the TO of it and not been able to play. So got a game set for Monday, and I'm hoping to get that one videoed. That'd be good. I should imagine he's using his Americans, because that's probably normally all he plays is Americans. And I know he has been started to collect some French from a French army, so I don't know how far he's got on with that. So we'll have to see. And but yeah, looking forward to that. He is a very canny player, and he doesn't lose very often, and he's won a lot of one-day events. You don't see his name, but he does play quite a bit with them, and he does win quite a bit with them. So that'll be interesting to see how we get on. He'll be taking his Americans, I think, and I'll be taking my Italians that I'm running for a Cams Bridge Too Far. So that'll be interesting to see how they play. More or less the army that I had in the video game. I think it was a video game against Andy the other day, and they did reasonably well. So it's the ones with the little Fiat 3000s. You may hear a high-pitched beep in the background, and that is the oven going. So one of my other jobs is cooking for the whole family. So I think probably going to have to call it a day at this moment. So yeah, a live practice, a little chat through. So I might be able to do another. I've got to work out how to get this in focus. If I'm painting this close up, was it going to focus on? It's probably going, as the autofocus, it's going to focus on my hand and not actually the figure. So possibly having the camera on the other side might work. Anyway, we'll see as you go. Thanks very much for joining in and asking some questions and chatting. Always nice to chat to somebody else. We may be able to do more of these as we go along. Oh yeah, what have we got? We're nearly up to 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I think when was it? It's about 985, which is phenomenal, really. And so I've been looking at the giveaway, and I think the giveaway will be a US bolt action airborne army with a little bit of mechanical support in the which will probably be an M10 tank destroyer. So that's what I'll be looking to do, and I will probably do that within the next week. Put it up to let people know what the giveaway is. So if people are watching this, they get an idea, a little heads up. Anyway, better go before the dinner burns. Take care and speak to you all later.